Macbeth in 7 volleyball positions by Edmund Mao.
Throughout the play Macbeth, written by William Shakespeare, we follow Macbeth as he goes on a roller coaster of power, starting only as the Thane of Glamis, progressing to the Thane of Cawdor, and eventually the King of all of Scotland. He displays various themes that would lead to both his rise and downfall in power, and these can be found in many places, even in our everyday lives. But I found some irrefutable connections between the traits and the concepts displayed in the play to 7 volleyball positions, and with that I present to you Macbeth in 7 volleyball positions. Violence and aggression is a prominent theme we've seen displayed all throughout Macbeth, from the cold-blooded murdering of King Duncan to the bloodbath that is the Battle of Dunsinane. The Thane of Glamis does not shy away from killing people, whether it be for his own country or his own ambition. This lust for violence would be one of the leading factors that would cause his demise. During the Battle of Dunsinane, Macbeth, under the false pretenses of a prophecy, believes he is invincible and goes on a murdering spree, cutting down men as if whacking weeds. Thou was born of woman, but swords I smile at, weapons laughed to scorn, brandished by a man that's of a woman born. Macbeth is laughing in the face of death, ready to slay any man in his way. This aggression would lead him right to Macduff, where his reign of murder and terror would be ended, and he would be slain. The outside hitter, or sometimes known as the outlet, is one of your strongest offenses on the court. They're repeatedly set and often have leading in kills. The repeated attack on the opposing team can be seen as violence on the court, and after a couple of good sets, the outside hitters can tend to get greedy, calling for an excessive number of sets, increasing their margin for error. In Macbeth, the lust for violence would lead to his death, while the overaggression of your outside hitter can lead to mistakes, losing points not only for your team, but himself too. This repeated lust for violence can eventually cost your game. As Macbeth lost his life due to his lust for violence, the outside hitter may cost your team the game. Macbeth does not shy away from manipulation in his quest for the crown. Macbeth would trick and confuse people to do his bidding. An example of this in the play is Macbeth when he tricked the murderers to kill Banquo by convincing them that Banquo was the cause of their problems. Know that it was he in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. In this excerpt, he's trying to convince the murderers that all their troubles are rooted in Banquo, rather than himself. By convincing the murderers that Banquo was the cause of their problem, they could easily follow through with the heinous act of killing an innocent man. The setter is the start of every good offense on a team. Good setters can fool the opposing team about their intentions and method of attacking. Setters use their opponents to their advantage, swinging them along with their false intentions of attacking from one side while setting the other. Like Macbeth, the setter often manipulates the others to achieve their own ambitions. In Macbeth, he does so and becomes king, while setters do so to win games. The unnatural was one of the many tools Macbeth had at his disposal that would help him claw his way to the crown. From the start of the play to the end of play, Macbeth would often consult the Weird Sisters for their prophetic insights. The prophecy of his reign was the first encounter of the unnatural, but he would continue to utilize this unorthodox method and give him false confidence in the unnatural, which would eventually lead to his untimely death. After receiving his first prophecy, it was prophesied that Macbeth would become king and Banquo's heir would ascend to the throne. Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. After this initial prophecy was fulfilled, Macbeth would choose to go back to the witches for another one. Even till destruction, sicken, answer to me what I ask. This is Macbeth demanding a second prophecy, and this is where he would receive the 3 apparitions. That he would not be killed of a band-murdered woman, that he would have to beware of Macduff, and that his reign would only fall when Birnam Wood comes to Dunsinane. This brash confidence in the unnatural would lead him yet again to Macduff, and eventually to his death. Opposite hitters are usually left-handed, as their approach from the right side of the court is more favorable to lefties. In the Middle Ages, left-handed people were accused of witchcraft, as most people were right-handed. And to this day, only 10% of people are left-handed, making them still unnatural and obscure. On the court, the opposite hitter can be a useful tool in a pinch, but when you overuse this unnatural, it can give you a false sense of confidence, as the opposite hitter is one of the easiest to block, and when you overuse them, you lose. Macbeth's overconfidence in the unnatural would lead to his demise, as is same for a volleyball team. Both Lady Macbeth and Macbeth put on false personas to entice and fool the people around them. This masquerade proved to be greatly effective, as the people around them were fully convinced that their mourning for King Duncan was genuine, when in fact it wasn't. These lies were able to deceive the thanes of their court, obscuring their cause for murdering King Duncan, thereby taking them off the metaphorical suspect list, allowing them to be one step closer to their true ambition, the crown. Lady Macbeth enters the stage and is shocked and bewildered by the news, which of course is an act, since she knows that her husband was the murderer. Woo, alas, what, in our house? This is the facade that the lady chooses to take. ashamed that the murder took place in their home, and confused as to why it happened, when in fact she is the one who orchestrated it. I had died but an hour before this chance. I had lived a blessed time. From this instant there is nothing serious in mortality, all is but toys. Macbeth is acting bewildered and disheartened by the news of the king's murder, when in fact he is elated that he is one step closer to the throne. This just goes to show that both Lady Macbeth and Macbeth use false personas to get to their own ambitions. A middle blocker is usually one of the biggest and tallest people on the court. This position is crucial for gameplay around the net, whether it be for blocking or attacking. While your middle blocker may seem like one of the most talented and technically skilled people on the court, they are often one of the worst players for anything but net play. Defense, passing, serving are all weak points for them. Their offense and stature put up a false persona of them being the best, when in fact they are usually not. Like Macbeth, the middles put up a false image to get to their own ambition. In Macbeth's case, it was to get to the crown, and in the middle blockers, it is to get more playtime. What does it mean to be a man? Is it the willingness to serve one's country, or is it the willingness to attain one's ambition? This psychological tug of war can be found all throughout the play, being played out in various ways. In Macduff's abandonment of his family for the sake of his country, or Macbeth choosing to kill King Duncan for his own ambition. This tug of war is further exacerbated by Lady Macbeth when they invite King Duncan to their manor. This night, Macbeth is torn between the choice to kill the king and reach his own ambitions and live up to his manhood, or stick to his morals while serving his country, but living in the shadow of the man his wife once thought he was. What beast wast then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. Lady Macbeth asked why he had changed his mind, and he further questions Macbeth's wavering manhood now that he is hesitant to follow through. We can see this on the court through the serving sub. While most teams choose to stray away from this strategy, a serving sub can come in especially handy when your worst server is going up to serve. The serving sub serves a single point and plays defense, and once the play is over, it is immediately subbed off. The serving sub is usually the player with the least amount of playtime, often leading them to question their place on the team. This is further expressed by the culture built up by many teams where the serving sub is looked down upon and not even viewed as an actual player on the team. Macbeth's manhood was questioned by Lady Macbeth the same way the playerhood of the serving sub is questioned by their fellow teammates. Macbeth's ambition can be seen all throughout the play, from the killing of King Duncan to the murder of Banquo. Macbeth is able to commit heinous acts to feed his own ambition. His ever-continued reach for more would eventually get him killed. Once Macbeth was victorious in battle, he would become Thane of Cawdor. Once he was Thane of Cawdor, he would want to become king. Once he was the King of Scotland, he would want his lineage to become kings. Once he killed Banquo so that his lineage would become kings, he would want an unchecked rule. And through his quest for an unchecked rule, he would eventually be killed in battle by Macduff. As we can see, Macbeth's want for more and more and more would eventually lead to his demise. During the soliloquy in the first act, Macbeth says, "Vaulting ambition which o'erleap itself and falls onto others." Macbeth is aware of his rampant ambition, yet he chooses to continue to work towards his overinflated aspirations, leading to his eventual demise. The libero is a peculiar player. He is never able to rotate this front row, yet he is also the defensive captain of the team. When under attack, he is the last line of defense between the ball and the ground. The libero is constantly diving and sprawled across the court, and being the defensive captain of the team means he is often being hit at. Even when faced with this many adversities, the libero's ambition to keep the ball up outweighs the risk associated with bodily harm. The liberos are constantly being hurt due to this rampant ambition. As Macbeth's unchecked ambition would eventually lead to his death, the libero's unchecked ambition leads to them constantly being physically hurt. After their victorious battle against the rebel MacDonald, Macbeth invites King Duncan and his men to stay at his manor, but what the king doesn't know is Macbeth has an ulterior motive. He plans to kill him when he stays there. Once they arrive, luckily for the king, Macbeth begins to double back on his plan. He is doubting whether he should kill an innocent man for his own personal gain. But this is where Lady Macbeth comes in. Lady Macbeth comes to ensure that Macbeth does not deviate from his ambitious path to the throne, saying, "I have given suck and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gum and dashed the brains out, had I sworn as you." Lady Macbeth is using tough love to ensure that Macbeth does not deviate from his path and become king. While Lady Macbeth does not directly and physically act for the throne, her insulting motivations was the push it took to ensure that Macbeth would follow through on his plans and eventually obtain reign of Scotland. On a team of 12, there can only be 6 players on the court at a time, meaning that almost half the players will always be on the bench.
The bench players cannot directly affect the course of the play, rather they can cheer and motivate their teammates to ensure they have the convictions to play their hearts out and eventually win the game. As Lady Macbeth could not directly affect their team's course of action and path to the throne, she was able to motivate him and set him on the right path to get to their ambition, the crown. The same goes for the bench in volleyball. While they are not able to directly affect their team's course of actions and path to the W, they are able to motivate them and set them on the right course, that is to get their ambition and eventually get the W.
The play Macbeth may seem like a relic of the past, but if analyzed closely, we can find formidable connections between the themes of the play and present-day topics. The 7 positions I chose may not have seemed to have a connection to violence, ambition, manipulation, Lady Macbeth, appearance versus reality, overconfidence in the unnatural, or even manhood. But through this video, I hope I've brought a new, revitalizing perspective to this classic of a play.